Devin, the crowd. I could close my eyes and think Brady's Julian Edelman's in the end zone. The crowd was alive. We don't talk enough about the home field advantage. Great to see you. My friend, all-pro safety, 3-time Super Bowl champ, and I'm sure somebody who's got a big smile after last night. What happened? I thought this was the matchup the Chargers wanted.
It was. It just didn't work out because you're playing against a really good football team in the New England Patriots. I mean, and can we give Hunter Henry some credit? He scored like 4 times on that play this year. I texted him after the game. I was like, hey, don't you even think about retiring anytime soon. You got like a good 5 to 6 years left in you. So it was fun watching. And like you said, that crowd, when it's go time and you're playing well, they're the best out there. And, you know, they have high standards over there in New England. And the crowd and the fans, they hold you to it.
It hasn't been that loud. It really, I mean, I've been to games up there since you played, and it's like, but there was no reason. It just really takes me back to when I lived up there, and I would see it. I mean, we even had the silver bullet guy. This guy does, by the way, I need his skincare secrets. This is Keith Burchall. I mean, this guy, this is the guy. This represents everything up there and the madness that will ensue throughout the playoffs. What do you know about this guy?
He was all over our pregame show where they talked about the new generation not witnessing Patriot wins. Like, my kids woke up today and they were like, did the Patriots win? Did the Patriots win? I was like, guys, it's back in the day. Yeah, wake up expecting the Patriots to win. We're like, you're headed to San Francisco. They'll be in the Super Bowl. That's what everybody in New England's thinking now. And, again, I think the way they won last night reminded me of the old Patriots of it's playoffs. We don't care how. We just find a way. The defense was one of the worst defenses in the red zone all year. They shut the Chargers out in the red zone last night. It was incredible to see how the playoffs and the regular season, how everybody wants to talk about all of that. And it comes down to one game and who executes and who's more prepared. And last night it looks like New England was more prepared.
You don't let your kids stay up for the playoffs?
I was at work. That's all up to my wife. I said, hey, do whatever you can handle, you know, don't blame it on me.
No, I'll just blame it on you, even though I knew you were working. Okay, so the defense, we'll get to Drake Maye. The defense puts on a show. 30 pressures, 6 sacks. I went into this game thinking the pass rush was the weakness of this defense going in. How did they make it a strength last night?
Yeah, we talked about it before the game. The reason why I thought the Chargers liked this matchup is because the Patriots don't have a dominant pass rushing unit when you think of the down 4 guys. But right at the end, I said, but I think New England's going to switch it up, and they're going to be aggressive in this game, and they're going to send pressure, and they're going to make sure Herbert doesn't get comfortable. And that's exactly what they did. It was blitzing DBs. Marcus Jones blitzed a couple times. Craig Woodson came off the edge. And then having Milton Williams back, he was a problem in the middle of that pocket all night. But it was a different look. Spillane being up in there and creating a 5-man rush. They created a lot of one-on-one pass rush situations, and guys won those matchups, and that was the difference.
Drake Maye gets his, you know, you can champion a quarterback and love what he's doing. He can put together an MVP career, but you never really know until the playoffs. You know, like, what's this going to look like? What's this playoff debut? It wasn't gorgeous in the first half. What changed in the second half?
I just think for all quarterbacks, you get more comfortable. And I think the game plan, it's now true. Like the first quarter, you don't get that many possessions. Teams will wrinkle in things that they're not going to do all game. But by midway through the second quarter and the second half, you're able to recognize exactly what they're doing. You and the coordinator can get together and understand how we want to attack. And I look at Drake Maye, I look at Caleb Williams, both young guys who once they got comfortable, they were able to make some plays late in the game because now it's just football. It's what you've done, it's what you've practiced. And I know everybody goes crazy about playoff experience, this, and they've been there before. Like, if you're playing good football and you know what you're doing, you're going to go and do it. And we saw that this weekend with some of these younger quarterbacks that went out there and they beat more veteran quarterbacks that had great years in Herbert and Love, and it just didn't matter because it's about execution. And those guys, they don't care that it's their first time in the playoffs. They're going to go win because they got the support of their team.
He was running all over people. I feel like that's when he settled in, too, when he started running more.
Yeah, and that was one of the things that I thought both defenses got away with a little bit. When you play both those quarterbacks, Herbert and Maye, it's not only about getting pressure, it's about understanding that we got to keep them in the pocket and we can't let them pick up easy plays. And too many times last night, Drake Maye just slid left or slid right, ran for 10, 12 yards, picked up first downs. So then the check downs, Ramondre, or a big pass down the middle, like those all crush you because you put it together with a couple scramble plays that kept drives alive.
He was 10 for 66, highest rushing total of the year. We'll see if he can do that against whoever his opponent. Who do you want?
Nobody wants Houston.
Nobody wants Houston.
But I'm excited. I think if you're a Patriots fan, you don't want to see Houston. But if you're a football fan, I just think next week, if you get Houston and New England, I just think that is going to be a heck of a matchup. Those two teams going at it. That's what I would love to see.
The Nick Caserio ball?
Yeah, and I think Houston should win tonight. I think they're a better football team than the Steelers. Look, we saw San Fran go to Philly and beat Philly, so it's not as easy as this team's better on paper. But I expect to see Houston and New England for a heck of a divisional matchup.
Josh Allen, best player, no debate. Although ESPN was debating it this morning somehow. Who the best player? Who's the second best player? I'm going to show you some. You can go off this list or off of this list. This is some all pros that are left. Who's the second best player in the playoffs?
For me, who's the guy I'm taking? I'm probably taking Drake Maye on that list right now. I just think it's a quarterback league. You can put all these guys up here. It's going to come down to the quarterback. So I'm taking Drake Maye. I'm taking a Matthew Stafford. Like, those are the guys that when the game's all said and done, that's who we're going to be talking about. We're going to talk about, did they make the play? Did they not make the play? And that's like, Jordan Love was unbelievable. Like, he played his butt off Saturday night, but they didn't have the drive to go win the game, and Caleb Williams did. And that's the talk of the conversation. So I'm definitely taking, one of those two quarterbacks, the two guys that are going to be at the top of the MVP race. It's those two guys for me. If
we look at the wild card, before we get to Texans, Steelers, what else pops out to you that we didn't get to? Was it, like, we can just take a look at the... I'm a little down on the Rams, I think. The NFC West is so interesting now. Losing Kittle, that has to be a game changer, right? Like, maybe it's just like an NFC West question. What pops out to you?
They're unbelievable, but I think coming in, we were like, man, Seattle and the Rams, there's just something about them. And then we watched the Rams again, for a second straight week where we're like, you just said, is it as good as we think? I don't know. And then you got Kyle Shanahan who's coaching his butt off, but it's always like, I always think of it as like, all right, somewhere, somehow, everything's going to catch up with him. And it feels like it's this weekend coming up, going to Seattle, having to play that game. It just feels like those injuries are going to just start to mount. But what I love about the playoffs and, in general is in New England, we used to start our whole year in April, our first practice, we would start inside the 10-yard line, and Bill would tell us we could play good for 58 minutes or 59 minutes. Our season's going to come down to 2 or 3 plays, usually in the red zone or something, or a 2-minute drive. And he said that's all that's going to matter in that playoff game. And when you watch these playoffs and the teams that know that they're going to be here, they've practiced for these moments. They've talked about it. They're ready for these moments. And I love that. Like, that's where stars are born, not throughout the whole game. It's all about the end of the game is what we remember with the playoffs. And it's not just a guy rising to the occasion. It's practice. It's talking about it. They've been ready for this moment, and I love to see it come to life.
Backing up in Adams with the GOAT, Devin McCourty. Who did Bill have that relationship with, if not in public, like, who did he have the LaFleur, Ben Johnson with, if you had to pick one? Even if it wasn't, you don't know?
I don't know. That's not Bill's thing.
Really?
But the fact that you brought up back in the day, can we address something? Because Gronk came on here.
You know what's so great, Devin? That's where I was going with that. I love you.
Okay. I'm too fast. No.
This is take it away. I'd like you to take it away. Gronk.
And I had to fact check. I had to make sure I was right when I had to ask a couple guys in the group chat. Gronk talks about me being a favorite. We had a game where we went and we had a guy on our team that was a hard worker. Bill loved this guy. Came in, worked his butt off, played on offense, played special teams, just showed up. But we play a game where he has 3 penalties in the game, and Bill lets him know in the middle of the squad meet, you're just not good enough to have 3 penalties in a game. Like, we can't have that. The very next week, who goes and gets 3 penalties in a game? That guy,
Wow.
Rob Gronkowski.
Wow.
So now, right, Bill Belichick's the guy that no matter who you are, he's going to let you have it. So now we're all sitting in the meeting. Everybody moves up in their seat like, ooh, Bill about to get Gronk. This is going to be good. And he goes, Gronk, you had 3 penalties. And he moves on to the next thing. And Gronk's down there laughing. He's giggling, walks out of the meeting. He didn't say anything to me, and I had 3 penalties. He was always a golden child. As much like stuff he got into, he's never been in trouble. Bill's mad at him one time his whole career.
What was that?
In Buffalo, when he gave Tre'Davious White the forearm shiver and got suspended for a game. That's the only time I've ever seen Bill mad.
That was a bad moment for Gronk.
It was a bad
hates Gronk. It's hard for me because I hate that moment for Gronk. Like I wish I could take that away because you can tell it and I can't tweet anything about Gronk and the Bills without that coming up. It comes up all the time still. It really, that one stuck around. So Bill got mad at that one, yeah. That makes sense.
It was a moment where we were like, oh, Gronk's human. Because before that, you were like, this guy's an alien. He was made somewhere else with all of the crazy things he can do and get away with. But an absolute legend. I love that I get to tell my kids I was drafted around before Rob Gronkowski, no matter how great the future Hall of Famer is.
I think that this will be a, Jordan LeBron argument for the rest of time. Who is the favorite, Devin McCourty or Rob Gronkowski? What does that make Tom? If you two are co-teachers' pets, what does that make Tom?
Well, Tom's the favorite that no one wants to talk about. Like, he's the one that the dad loved the most, so he got on the most because he knew how special he was. Like, that's Tom. And then Tom would always go to our captain's meetings and be like, hey, you guys got to ask Bill because if I ask him, he's not going to do it. And we'd be like, Tom, if you don't stop. Don't
you think he's right, though? I think he was right.
No, he's the oldest. He's the favorite. It just got showed in different ways. They had a special bond that nobody else understood.
You just broke it down pretty well. Last one for you. We've got Steelers-Texans tonight. Winner takes on your Patriots. Houston, 3-point favorite on the road. Where does this wild card game get won?
Pittsburgh's defense. We know what we're getting from Pittsburgh on offense against Houston's defense. It's going to be a struggle. They're going to have to find different ways, put together maybe 2 or 3 drives, try to get to 17 points or 13 points, something like that. But can Pittsburgh's defense be dominant against Houston's offense? Houston's offense has been okay at times. I think one of the keys for Houston's offense are the big plays. If they can create big plays either down the field in the pass game or Woody Marks breaks a run, Nico Collins gets deep, like that has been the difference for them scoring points. But I think if Pittsburgh can make it where they get after them, the pass rush is there, they stop the run, I think Pittsburgh can have a shot. Now, I think that's going to be hard for them to do, but you have a veteran team. They've been there before. And I think that defense at this point now is like, if we just give Aaron Rodgers a chance, he can still go win football games. And I'm sure they'll be happy to have DK Metcalf back out there to have a matchup that you actually like. And I know Stingley Jr. is a problem, and he's a really good player with Lassiter. But like, you're going to need a DK if you're going to want to throw against these guys on Houston. And I look for one guy to have a big game to prove to people, Kalen Bullock, the safety for the Houston Texans. Okay. I think he was a first-team All-Pro type of player this year at the free safety position. I think he looks to send a message and have a big game tonight. Okay, I love that. I was going to ask you about Cole Bishop. I needed some safety talk in this wild card round. Okay, we're putting Bullock on the map. I like everything you're saying. I'm wondering, I love history. I have a hard time when you guys leave the game as a fan. Am I watching Aaron's last game? I think there's a shot. Now, I think he's having fun in Pittsburgh, though. I know. And what's the percentage if they lose this is his last game? Like, I hate to say 50-50. I would say more like if they lose, it's probably 30-70 that he retires. But I think one of the key factors is, does Pittsburgh say to him, hey, we love to do this again? Because I think if that's on the table, I think there's a higher chance he comes back. Now, if Pittsburgh says, hey, like, there's a shot we might want you back, but we're going to look elsewhere first and we're going to try, I think then he definitely goes into retirement. But I think if they win a season, if they lose and they come to him in a week and they say, hey, we want to give you time, but we want you to know if you want to play, we want you back here, then I think he comes back if he hears that.
What if Minnesota's on the table, though, this time around? Woo! Decisions.
That is a big decision. Throwing to Justin Jefferson to make anybody.
You know, Aaron's watching the TV wherever he's seeing Justin Jefferson in every commercial. He's like, that'd be kind of nice to throw to him, though.
Yeah,
nothing
exactly.
against DK. Short break here. I do want to tell you, Christian Gonzalez in concussion protocol. He's in doubt.
That's so interesting because usually they throw away concussions in the playoffs.
What do you... On that note, Devin McCourty, love you so much. Appreciate having you, and we'll see who takes on the Patriots down the stretch. You're the absolute best. Thank you.
I love being on with a legend like Kay Adams. I appreciate
you.
the
You are the teacher's pet. We love it.